There we go. And so, Dave, welcome to the Project Sanity show. And I hear you got some news out of California, some updates on the People Summit, and some other things. So just give us a little rundown of what you got and lead us into it.
Cool. Yeah. Well, yeah. I've got some headlines, some news out of California, an update on the count, and a couple other stories that happened this weekend. One on the People's Summit, and also an interview I did with a young man in Ireland, one of the Bernie revolutionaries out there across the globe, who's 16 and into progressive media, and he's a sharp kid. So look forward to seeing that. But California first. Quick update. Right now, the lead has been shrunk between Hillary and Bernie. Bernie is down now just 9.3% from originally 12.6% on election night. So these unprocessed ballots, which probably added up to about a third of the votes cast here in California or so, the count, it looks like it is definitely going in Bernie's direction. We had an idea that was going to happen. And it looks like it's happening actually even faster than we expected. I've been talking to a young man on Twitter who's really crunching the numbers, and it looks like basically it's flipped. The backside of this election, the more votes that come in, it looks like Bernie is actually is winning by about 12 points in this post-election time period. But there are still 664,000 unprocessed ballots in the state of California. 469,000 of those provisional. And the big news about the provisional ballots here in California is thanks to a small group of ballot count watchers here in LA County, down in Los Angeles, Norwalk area where they're doing the counting. Thanks to this small group of folks watching the provisional ballot count start, they noticed that a good chunk of those votes were being set aside. About 25% of the ballots that had been counted at that point were set aside because they were provisional ballots, but they were Democratic ballots, not Democratic crossover ballots. So those were set aside as being incorrect because they were supposed to ask and receive or be told to get Democratic crossover ballots. Now, this illusionary Democratic crossover ballot is yet to be seen, as far as I know. So all of these votes that actually had Democratic ballots weren't being counted. And this really upset this group of poll watchers. And I can tell you the leader of this group is Nomi Abadi. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I'm going to hopefully speak with her this weekend. But they were very upset, and they felt that those votes should be counted, and those were just being thrown away, and those were probably Bernie Sanders votes. Well, the LA County supervisor, the head of the count there that day, I don't have his name, but he basically came out and found them outside and said, you know what? The intent of the voter is clear on these ballots. These are votes for Bernie Sanders, even though they're not crossover votes, and they're going to be counted. We're going to make new ballots for them, the appropriate ballot, and make their vote count, because they were going to be considered NPP because that's how they were registered. But the intent of the voter is being found, and it's being utilized in the county. Now, that was posted on Reddit yesterday. It's number 19, I think, might be higher now, but it's going off on Reddit. And this story, and a lot of counties are getting on board. People are going down to their counties. This is what people need to do. Count California is the hashtag. Get a hold of Padilla, tweet him, tell him we want all of the NPP votes counted that are Democratic ballots that are provisional. We want them counted, and this could potentially be upwards of 600,000 votes in the state of California. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but there's a good chance that these votes are substantially Bernie votes. And if we're talking those numbers, we're talking about very possibly getting close to tying California or flipping California. But it's all going to come down within the next 10 days. The state of California requires these votes to go in, these counts to go in. So it's crucial that we get Padilla on board, get these votes counted in all counties, not just LA. I read that Sonoma County is on board, so there are counties that are doing it. Now, we've flipped some. Yolo is the latest. There's only been 4 counties that flipped. San Francisco didn't flip. Couple of districts flipped. District 13, which is Oakland and Berkeley, part of San Francisco, and now District 34, which is part of Los Angeles, has flipped. But that, as far as I know, is it. We are shrinking the count, but hopefully this new information thanks to Nomi and her being a citizen, going down and watching this, and that's what she says to do. And you can find her video over on one of my playlists, and maybe we can share it in the comments or in the video description. But if we can get this information out to get all the counties in California to make sure that provisional ballots that have Dem ballots in them get counted, even though they're not crossovers. So that's very important.
Yeah, that's a really good piece of engagement, and I'm glad that people are getting out and getting engaged. And I think it's whether it flips Bernie or not, and whether, like, I'm not exactly sure how the delegate process works out there in California.
Right, yeah, it's pretty irrelevant.
Yeah, it's like, but what matters is that people are getting engaged. They're keeping on their elected officials and making sure that the votes are getting counted. Because as we see, the mainstream corporate media has basically turned a blind eye to what's happened in California, pretty much almost all together. And so, if you want to, like, if people weren't actively putting pressure out there to make sure these votes get counted, other than where the counties have high-quality officials, like you mentioned down there in L.A. County, where they're doing a pretty good job there, and they take their job pretty seriously. Some of the other smaller counties, or more rural, or more outborn, or whatever, those counties, those people being engaged is critical in making sure that even your vote counts. Because if your votes aren't counting, then you're definitely not going to make the impacts in government that you were trying to see. So I think that's really important. Well, and go ahead.
A lot of those rural counties are for Bernie right now, actually, and some of the ones that are, the ones that are flipping are more of the population centers where there were a lot more unprocessed ballots. I think a lot more precincts. L.A. being one of them. There's still 178,000 provisionals to be counted. So yeah, absolutely, and you have to be involved in it. It's voter beware. It really is. So
I mean, it's really easy to watch the news, the mainstream media as they're reporting, and you see the numbers like, oh, 80% in, 79, 90, 100%'s in. Oh, everybody's in California's vote's been counted. This is the margin. When if you dig hard enough and look close enough in the fine print and in the details under the asterisks, you might see something that says 100% of counties are reporting some of their vote.
Partial voting. Yeah. 100% have reported partial totals.
It would be hard for me to imagine a more deceptive statistic.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the story really isn't about flipping California or getting even closer. And it is. What's deeper is the suppression. And this is, I mean, we've had same-day registration on the books in California since 2012. And I just found a tweet from 2014 from the Secretary of State that says, yeah, it's not going to be implemented at least till after 2016. It's like, why? Well, they had an amendment in there where they had to fulfill this. Same-day voter registration would have eliminated this NPP problem, and we would not have had, we would have seen real, hopefully statistics come out. But with the elimination of the exit polls, I mean, it's deep, 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 and that's basically they spread the suppression out over such a wide web that it's hard to put your finger on exactly something being done consciously. It's a tangled web, but we're getting there. We're getting there in California. Better and better news all the time. The other thing that happened this weekend, and maybe Richard